Hey everyone, I hope you're doing good. Welcome to SimpliCode's YouTube channel. In our previous video, we have discussed about how to create a function in SQL. And in today's session, we are going to talk about another important function, that is conversion functions in SQL. In this tutorial, we are going to cover about the cast and conversion, which are most commonly used conversion functions in SQL. More on that soon. But before we get started, if you're new to the channel and haven't subscribed already, consider getting subscribed to our channel SimpliCode to stay updated with all the latest tech content, and hit that bell icon to never miss an update from us. So without any further ado, let's get started with today's topic. Firstly, let us discuss the agenda for today's session. We'll start the tutorial by understanding what is cast function, and then we'll discuss what is convert function, and next we'll have a detailed comparison between the cast and convert function and see how they are different from each other. And finally, we'll execute these two functions in MySQL Workbench using various examples. So let us get started with today's topic. So firstly, what is cast function? The cast function in SQL is one of the most commonly used conversion function which allows the user to convert from one data type to another. It is very useful for concatenating results from various data types. Now this conversion can be either a single expression or the values from the columns in the SQL tables. It also allows the user to perform calculations on two different data types as well. Now using cast, it does not change the data completely in the database. This conversion of data from one data type to another is only valid while the query is running and is not permanent. That is, the changes to the query is only done on a temporary basis. However, it is possible to convert and insert into a new column or table as well. Let us now understand the syntax of cast function. The syntax is followed as cast expression as data type length. Expression here represents the data which we want to convert, and the data type specifies the data type which we want to convert the value, and finally the length of the data, which is optional. You can give it as per your requirement for only certain data types such as nchar or varchar. Now let us consider an example here which says select cast 76.87 as int. Here I am taking a string value which is 76.87 and I am converting this data type into the int value. Now the output is as expected, that is 76, which is an integer value. In this way, you can use the cast function to change one data type to another data type in real time. Next, let us discuss about what is convert function. The convert function converts an expression in one data type to corresponding value in other data type. Now, you might be confused that the convert is different from the cast function. Convert is similar to that of cast function as well, while the functionality of both these conversion functions is same. The only main difference is the syntax and the usage. So you can specify the format to convert as well as the data type in the convert function, and it is a very useful function especially for converting the strings to date formats. And the syntax is followed as convert expression comma data type. Now again, the data type parameter defines the target data which is to be converted. Now, and the data type parameter can take data types as an input such as big int, small int, decimal, numeric values, float values, character values, variable characters, nchar, etc. And the length is optional parameter which specifies the target data type length, and the default of this parameter is around 10 or 20. Now we also have the expression. This parameter specifies the value in which we want to convert to another data type. So let us consider an example here, which is select convert 2022.06.07 as date. Now this is basically a string value, or you can say a part of a decimal value, and I'm changing this string or character into date format, which is 2022-06-07, which is converted into date format. So in this way you can use the convert function as well. Let us now understand the difference between the cast and convert function in SQL. Now both these SQL conversion functions are row functions which are capable of typecasting column values or an expression from one data type to another, and the functionality of both of the functions are almost similar, but there are some major differences in them as well. Now both the cast and convert function are used to convert one data type to another data type, and one of the main differences is the syntax. Now the syntax of cast is very simple. It includes the value to convert and the type of resulting data type. It has as a keyword to separate the data type from the value, and there is an option to express the length, which is the integer that specifies the length of the target data type. And on the other hand, the convert syntax mentions the resulting data type first along with the optional length. There is another expression and another optional parameter called style in the convert function, which is only specific to the SQL Server database. Now this style allows formatting the data type and specifies how the convert function should translate or format the data type. Now apart from these, there are some certain differences as well. The cast is an ANSI standard function. That is, cast is considered as the American National Standard Institute's standard function. That means it is applicable to most of the SQL databases out there like PostgreSQL, MySQL, MariaDB, MongoDB, etc. On the other hand, conversion function is a specific function that is only restricted to mainly Microsoft SQL Server. Cast function is also more portable function of these two. It means that the cast function can be used by many databases out there. And also cast is considered less powerful and less flexible than the convert function. And on the other hand, the convert function is generally considered as a flexible function which allows more flexibility and is mostly preferred to use for date time values, etc. Convert is also useful in formatting the data's format as well. And finally, cast function is used to convert a data type without a specific format, whereas the convert function does converting and formatting data types simultaneously. Now, for example, cast cannot convert a date time to specific format, whereas the convert function can do that. So these were some major differences between the cast and convert function. I know you might be confusing at first because there isn't much difference between these two functions. And also there is no difference in the performance of these two functions as well. So it's just a matter of preference to choose which function to use. You can choose to use cast when you work with multiple relational databases and the syntaxes are pretty standardized, easy to remember, and since it is an ANSI standard function, you can use it in any database as well. On the other hand, if you need to specify the output styling, we can use the convert function for that. And even though the style is optional and is limited to certain databases like SQL Server, the cast function is often used to preserve decimal values and places while converting between decimal numeric values, whereas the convert function cannot do this. So it is a matter of requirement when to use both these functions, and it is up to the user to choose between these both conversion functions. So now that we've understood about these two functions, let us jump into MySQL Workbench for execution part.
If getting your learning started is half the battle, what if you could do that for free? Visit SkillUp by Simplilearn. Click on the link in the description to know more.
As you can see, MySQL Workbench has started and we can now work on our conversion functions. Firstly, let us discuss about the cast function in SQL. So let us take an example for this. Let's say if I want to convert a string value into an integer data type, then the following query would be select cast, and within the parenthesis, let's say I have a string value which is 45.68 and I want to change this into int data type. So I'll mention int as int, which is the keyword we use in the cast function. So let us now execute this statement and see the output. Now it will show me an error. That's because the int data type is not supported in MySQL Workbench if you are working on cast function. So instead of int, you can take the signed function, which is basically a sister group of the int data type. So you can take the signed integer as well. So let us now display this value. So as you can see, it will return me the 46, which will round off the decimal value, which is 45.68 to 46. Now let us take another example. Let's say I have a string value, I want to change it into date format. So then the following query would be select cast So let me just take some string values like 22 comma 9 comma 24 as date. So let us execute this statement and we'll see the output. So as you can see, the string value that we have taken here, that such as 22, 9, 24 has been changed into date format, which is 2022, which is the year, 9 is the month, and 24 is the date, which is in the format of year, month, and date. Now, if you pass the values here, which is not in the range of the function that of the data type that you have specified in this function. For example, instead of 9, if I take 14, and let's say if I want to pass this function, then it will show me a null value. That's because the value 14 is not in the range of the date value. That is 14, there are only like 12 months, right? So the values it can take is only from 1 to 12. Now if you pass other than this range, then it will show an error. Now similarly, if I want to specify this value into datetime function, then I can simply mention the datetime function data type as well. So let us see the output. So it will show me the output in the form of date as well as the time format here. So let us now understand another example. Now as discussed earlier, a cast function not only changes the data type of an expression, it can also change the data type of the column values in the table as well. So for that, let us take an example for this. Let me consider the restaurant orders table here. Now I have this price column which is in decimal values. Now let's say if I want to round off these values into integer values, then the following query would be select cast, mention the parameter which is price as signed from the table name, that is restaurant orders. So let us execute and see the output. So as you can see, the prices are being changed into the integer values now, and the decimal values have been rounded off. So similarly, if I want to mention the columns, I can mention them as well. So I'll take the item name, the previous price, and the change price. So I'm giving this change price as the new price as a new column. So let us now execute this statement and see the output. So as you can see, it will display the item name, the price, and the new price of these items. Now as you can see, the price of the tandoori mixed grill, which is 11.95, has been rounded off to an integer value, that is 12. And similarly, all the other values as well. Now if you scroll down a bit, as you can see, we have a price which is 0.5 and the new price is changed into 0, which is not acceptable, right? Now the price hash should be of a value. Now instead of signed, if you can take the decimal data type wherein you can mention this, and it will change the value into the nearest value of the decimal value. Now as you can see here, the 0.5 has been rounded off to 1 here, and similarly 0.8, which is more than 0.5, is also rounded to 1. So in this way you can use the cast function to change the data type accordingly. So now that we have covered the cast functions, let us now see a few data type conversions here, which will help you understand the usage of the convert function as well. Now firstly, let us start with the decimal data type. Now as the name suggests, decimal produces a decimal value and has two optional parameters, which is basically m and d, where m is the maximum number of digits that you want to show in the resultant table, or which is also known as precision, and d is the number of digits after the decimal points from the scale. You understand with an example here. So the following query would be select convert, and inside the convert, mention the expression. So I'm taking the value as, let's say, 21.345, and I want to change this value into decimal data type. And inside the decimal, I'm mentioning the parameters. So I'm taking as, let's say, 7 as the total number of digits that I will display, and I'm taking only 2 decimal values that I want to display after the decimal point. Right, so let us just execute this statement and we'll see the output. So as you can see, it will show me only the 2 values, that is 21.35 after the decimal point. So the output is 21.35. Now the value that we have taken is 21.345, which is converted into decimal data type format, which is 21.35. Basically, it will round off the value of 345 into 35. Now similarly, you can convert the values into date and time data types as well in using the convert function. So let us consider the example for that as well. So select convert. Let's say now I have a value 10, 25 as date time data type. So we'll convert this into date time data type. So let us see the output. So as you can see, the string value which we have specified here as 11, 10, 25, it will be changed into the date time data type, that is 2011, 10, 25, and the time as well. And similarly, you can use the convert function to change a number or a string value into year type as well. So let's say I'm taking a value 22 and I want to change this string value into year data type. So the following query would be select convert 22 as year. So as you can see, the output, the string value that we have taken as 22 has been now converted into 2022, which is in the format of year data type. Now similarly, you can convert a string value into the time as well. So let's say I'm taking a value like, let's say 09, 17, 26, and I'm specifying the data type as time. So let us see the output for this as well. So as you can see, the string value that we have taken as 091726, which is basically a number, and we want to convert that number into time data type. So it will display the value as 91726, which is in the format of hours, minutes, and seconds. And that brings us to the end of today's session, guys. That was all about the MySQL conversion functions. We have studied and understood what convert and cast function does, how exactly it works, its parameters with some examples. Now you can try converting the value in every valid data type using these two functions, that is convert and cast. So I hope you found this tutorial helpful and informative. Thank you for watching the video, guys. I hope you've understood the tutorial, and if you have any further queries regarding any of the topics covered in today's session, feel free to let us know in the comment section below, and our team of experts will be more than happy to help resolve all your queries at the earliest. Until next time, stay safe and keep coding.